Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball 30 Breakdowns in 30 Days. Today, we continue on with the NL West as we start to wind down the series with the Colorado Rockies. Taking a look at their history, not great. They've been around since '93, and John, if I asked you how many division titles they have, what would you tell me?
None.
They don't have one division title. They've only made the playoffs 5 times in 30 plus years, so not good. And then since 2019, they have not finished higher than fourth in the division. Last year, they actually took a bit of a nosedive of 68-94, which is their worst record since 2015 when they had the exact same record. I guess one of the positives you can say is they've never lost 100 games in a season, so that is good news for Rockies and Rocky fans. But they haven't made the playoffs since 2018 and lost to NLDS. They've made one World Series. They have one pennant, and that was all the way back in 2007 when they had Troy Tulowitzki and Matt Holliday, Todd Helton with Clint Hurdle at the helm of the team. But with nothing more to say about the team history there, it's just unfortunately not great. John, if you want to go ahead and jump on into the pitching staff.
Well, their key arrivals. Let's hit that real quick. Jerkis from Profar. They just recently signed him. Then he got right-hand pitcher Pierce Johnson, Bruce Sutter, left-handed pitcher off of waivers. That's always good. Jeff Criswell, a trade with the A's, is a big needle mover, and Nick Garcia, trade from the Pirates.
They got Brad Hand too.
Yeah, boy, there's a key.
And then Mike Moustakas as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's kind of past his prime. What do you think?
I'd say he's passed his prime about 4 years ago.
Yeah. And they have Daniel Bard.
Yeah, screw that. And yeah, well, they suck then. They're old. They're an old team, and they're not a good team. That's scary.
Yeah, well, going on a pitching staff, I guess Kyle Freeland is their top guy, I would say.
I have Jermaine Marquez as their top guy. That's what I'm seeing. Marquez as being their top guy this year.
All right. Well, you think so?
That's what I'm reading.
No.
I mean, it don't really matter looking at all their projections and everything for them. I don't think it's going to be a good stuff regardless who's number one. But
no, but Freeland, well, I guess it's kind of hard to say when you look at an ERA from a guy there. I mean, look at John Gray went to Texas. His numbers are way better in Texas than they were there. I think it's part of the reason they're bad. No free agent pitcher in his right mind is going to go there.
Mm-mm.
So that hurts him. Freeland, he made 31 starts, so he's durable, almost 100 or 174 plus innings. And then you said Marquez. Then I guess you got Jose Urena. He's kind of old for a baseball player.
He'll be about 32.
Right. So, yeah, well, he's not a young prospect. So I guess going from that, then it'd probably be maybe Feltner or Gomber.
Yep.
Gomber, when you got to go with a guy like him, he had a 5.75 ERA and 17 starts. Feltner went from Class A ball to the majors in 21. Big fastball. Urena, left-handers hit 329 against him last year. Wow. Yeah, in Freeland, his ERA at Coors Field in Colorado was 6. It was like half of that on the road. So that tells you something. And going back to Marquez, he's durable too. He made 30 starts. But in the bullpen, I'm not real high on Bard after what I've seen at WBC. He's, he was a wild, hard thrower, and then he quit playing or didn't play or whatever happened to him for a while. Come back. Looked okay. He's had like 54 saves and like 65 opportunities since he became the closer. He's doing a good job. I don't know what happened in WBC. Then they got Pierce Johnson, the guy who's with the Padres, but he had elbow tendonitis last year. So Dinelson Lamet, I don't know how you pronounce his name. He was a promising prospect. Injuries killed him. Lucas Gilbreth was good. Looking over the rest of it, like I said, they got Brad Hand. I remember him from the Nationals a couple years ago, so I don't have a very high opinion of him. Ty Blatch, wow, where hasn't he been? Connor Siebold, he couldn't cut it in Boston, and then Suter and Justin Lawrence. So there's just not a lot there.
There's
I'll let
nothing
you.
there. I
Yeah,
have nothing to add because there's nothing to add apart from they're
yeah.
old and they're not any good.
We'll add the catchers in.
Well, don't get much better. Look at their starting catcher. I have predicted to be Elias Diaz, who is the 32-year-old catcher who last season hit a solid 228. Um, he's he's aging. He hasn't hit. He only played 100 games. He's never really played a full season, but they got him projected to be the starter this year. Do you have anything you want to add on him?
Well, not so much on him, but they had the younger guy came up. He was 26 last year. Brian Servin.
Yeah.
He was respectable. Only had 187 at bats. Well, he wasn't that damn respectable. 203 hitter. Wow. Okay, first base.
CJ Cron.
Okay, second base. No, I was kidding. Cron has some power. He always has. But he's kind of a journeyman.
Kinda.
I hope their farm system's good because there ain't much up here.
Is
Second,
not very good.
their Gold Glove winning second baseman and big prospect who's never really hit like I think they thought.
No.
Brendan Rodgers. What'd you tell me about him?
He's out for the year. He got hurt in spring training, tore his shoulder labrum, I believe. So he's done for the entire year. So the only bright spot.
Haven't injuries been a problem his whole career?
Yeah, I think he only played 130 games last year. But he's going to be replaced by Ryan McMahon.
Oh, they're going to play him there instead of third. Oh well, Chris Bryant, is he going to play third?
Yeah, or outfield. I'm seeing projections for him right field. McCann last year.
But if they McMahon was, I heard was
McMahon,
penciled in at third. So I guess third base. They got Montero. Oh, Moustakas. I guess he'll play there. And Alan Trejo. Didn't he get some time up there last year? Yeah, not much.
not much.
He hit 271. He's only had 164 at bats. He's 26, so maybe it's his time.
Maybe I'm seeing here they're projecting it's like Mustakas, who's he's a non-roster invitee, starting third. They got short Ezekiel Tovar, who's a young international free agent guy, so that could be good for him. Hopefully, they need to inject some youth in this team. Profar, who we haven't talked on, he's the outfielder. He's over 30. Chris Bryant's 31. Charlie Blackman's going to be 37. CJ Cron's 33. Jonathan Daza, their center fielder, is 29. Mike Moustakas is going to be 35. Ellis and Diaz is going to be 33. They're
Charlie
old.
Blackman, DH. How old is Charlie?
Old.
Charlie, 35 or 36.
Blackman's going to be 37 this year.
Wow. Yeah, I just got an updated list of their projected lineup, and it's pretty much what you said. And Blackman would be the DH. Chris Bryant, yeah. Daza, and Profar, yeah, and Tovar at short. So pretty much, you said. I mean, Blackman's definitely on the downside of his career. I mean, he 264 last year.
For him, that's bad.
Yeah, 16 home runs to the power's coming down. Bryant, I mean, he's never healthy last year. So
one thing I thought was interesting about Chris Bryant, and again, I know he didn't play. He had his health issues, but not once in his career has he ever hit a home run in Colorado. Think of that. Everyone says that. I mean, it is not everyone says it is the easiest stadium, and he played 42 games last year there, and he did not hit one home run there in 42 games.
Right.
That's rough. But
Right.
he's not the player that he once was.
No.
He's 31, so he's going to start on his downswing. And the years of him hitting 30-ish home runs, hitting around 300 is probably gone.
Yeah, I think right.
But then you look at their outfield. It's not much better. Again, they got Profar, who they just signed, like 2 days ago, right?
It wasn't long.
I think it was like 2 days ago.
They got Randall Grichuk too.
But then it's just
He's only going to be 30.
Bryant's going to be an outfielder. They're old and they're not going to be good. And I think they're going to be worse they're going to be worse this year than they were last year. And
They
they're
just
worse.
patch it together, and
But they're not even
I mean,
patched together with anybody good.
yeah. What about
Colorado
their?
sucks. They need to get their crap together. I mean, I would hate to be a fan of these teams that don't even try.
I know. I
They're,
mean,
they're not trying. They can't say they're patching together. What are you patching together with? Mike, a 34, almost 35-year-old Moustakis?
yeah,
Get out of
yeah.
here.
Where are they rating the prospect rankings?
Well, before we move to the prospects, I will give you the opportunity. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this star-studded, young, youthful roster? It's not even fun to do teams like this. There's certain teams like the Royals don't give a crap. This team doesn't care. The Oakland Athletics, they don't care. And if their fans shouldn't show up for the games, or Athletics, they don't show up anyway. So they're
We
pulling.
never have. Even when they won 3 World Series in a row, they had
Yeah,
terrible.
they're showing up 3,000. You think they'll break 10,000 on opening day? Probably not.
It's a shame, you know.
Got to go in that dump of Oakland anyway, so I wouldn't want to go there anyway. But anyway, moving
It's a shame.
on to the prospect rankings. They're middle of the pack. They're
But in
14th.
their top prospects, Tovar, so he'll be up there, right? When he their top one.
Yeah, Tovar is number one. Zach Veen number two
Yeah.
is.
Veen, didn't he have a bad year last year? I'm saying that, but he had a great Arizona Fall League, kind of like Heston Kierstad, I guess. Leadoff
Who would
type
you
guy.
rather have?
Well, I guess Kierstad, but Veen, I think he was a high school guy. So,
What's rough for them? Their top prospects, apart from Tovar, who's their best prospect, hopefully does good. They only
would
got
be
under 28 on the roster, starting roster. You got Zach Veen, who's in Double A. Adele Amador, I think, who's in
shortstop.
low A. Drew Romo, who's in high A. Benny Montgomery, who's in low A. They're a long ways away. Number 6,
Was
Gabriel
Montgomery
Hughes.
draft pick last year or the year before?
Uh-huh.
As a tie, I don't know. I know it's
Well,
not long.
we got Gabriel Hughes, who's their sixth prospect, A ball. Warming Bernabel. I like that name, Warming Bernabel. I like it. I'm rooting for him. He's in
Yeah,
Double A. Sterling
girlfriend named
Thompson,
Brent.
A ball. Jaden Hill, A ball. Jordan Beck, A ball. Yanquel Fernandez, A ball. So of their top 11 prospects, one is higher than Double A, and majority of them are in Low A. So they're
And
going to
that
be
was good.
they're going to get worse before they get better, and they don't even have any trade bait on this team. No one's going
No.
to take Blackman. No one's going to take Bryant's contract, and he's going to start regressing soon. There's no pitching on this team. No one's going to want any of those pitchers.
Freeland might be something someone would want because he's. I don't think Freeland's that bad when he gets away. Like I said, from Colorado. Um, Marquez, how old is he? Um,
Uh,
he's 20.
already
He
got off
just
of it.
28, turned 28. Yeah.
I'm thinking, is there anything you want to touch on their prospects before we get to the record projections for this team?
No, that's probably scanning back over my notes here. I think that's about it. I feel sorry for Bud Black. I mean, chicken salad, chicken crap. You know.
I feel bad for their fan base.
I
I've been a fan. This is obviously it's not a secret what team we root for. The Oars, even when they were losing 110 games, they had to. You knew what they were building. They weren't
right.
they weren't piecing it together with these
Well,
old guys.
exactly. They went out and got a general manager that had been with 2 great organizations that were used to winning.
I have the
And
Rockies second worst record in National League this year, 65 and 97, and I think that'd be good for them. And it's a drop from last year. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised to have over 100 losses this year.
well, the late last week, the Sports Weekly, they made some predictions. They said 67 wins,
So we're
and so
close.
they're yeah, that's right. So yeah, they're not thinking much there either.
Well, it's not. It's not like you can't really like. We're almost done here, but you can't really talk about these teams. What's there to talk about? You know they're going to be a crap team. There's not much talent. They're old. They have no direction. What are
Yeah,
you
the only
gonna do?
thing you talk about is how bad you feel for the fans because
I feel bad
I
for the fans.
remember.
And if you're a Colorado Rocky fan, you watch this. I'm not coming after you. You probably feel the same way I do.
I know I feel bad for Mike. I remember when they started that it was expansion team, and I remember the expansion draft was like on ESPN back then, and it was a big deal. So much excitement, people good at the games, and they're treating their fans wrong. I mean, that's like in any other business of ripping your customer off
Yep,
because that's what they're doing.
it is exactly what they're doing.
I mean,
But
Anyway, yeah,
Tomorrow, we are going to be able to talk about a team who has talent. Not as much talent as last year, but they're going to make the playoffs unless something crazy
you
happens.
know. Well, okay, we'll talk about them tomorrow.
Los Angeles Dodgers. Then we follow them up with the San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and we're all done with our 30 for 30 series. So, John,
Well, that big way we can get into daily talking about what's happening that day, and
there you go.
you know,
John, give the
all
sign
right.
off, and we'll get out of here and get ready for tomorrow's episode.
Well, that's all for now, folks. We'll catch you next time on Brooks Knows Baseball.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.